For years in America, we've debated how young is too young to push kids into serious athletics. But the story we're going to bring you tonight takes that debate to an entirely new level. These are parents who believe that their kids' character can be forged by doing battle in the ring at age 7. Here's ABC's Neil Karlinski.
These 7 to 9-year-olds are getting ready for their big night. Even at this young age, they've been training for years. It's 7 o'clock in Thailand, it's a school night, and hundreds have come here to watch these children beat the living daylights out of each other. No headgear, mouth guards, or any other form of protection. This is the Thai version of Friday Night Lights, but far more dangerous and in action nearly every night of the week. The kids, including girls, have been captured on video during some unspeakably disturbing moments. A child throwing up in the ring, crying, wanting to quit, and being sent back in. Watch this little girl's eyes. Doctors tell us she is having a seizure from blows she suffered. To find out what's going on here, Nightline traveled from the streets of Bangkok out to the Thai countryside. In a village called Prachinburi, we find a tiny stone-faced 7-year-old named Andy preparing for his first fight. We ask Andy's mother the question most parents wonder right about now.
Aren't you worried about him getting hurt?
I'm not scared, she says, because I want to teach him to be tough. Andy says he likes to fight. Because I get money, he says. We're a little nervous for Andy as he's paraded into the ring. His fight doesn't last long. The refs call it off early, fearing that he's outmatched. This man is the fight organizer.
Do kids ever get hurt?
The fights are not that dangerous, he says, because the gloves help protect them and because they're still small. Here's where it gets even stranger. This is not some secret backroom sport, but virtually a national pastime, mainly among the poor.
You can find a fight any night of the week in the provinces.
Todd Kelstein spent years inside Thailand's child boxing culture for his film, Buffalo Girls. The movie follows the lives of 2 young girls whose families rely on them to win in the ring for money, mainly in the form of the widespread gambling that goes along with these child fights.
The betting is definitely what drives the whole thing. Well, it's the love of the sport, but it's also the betting. The trainers, the promoters, the kids' families all bet on the fights, and they all make pretty good money doing that.
9-year-old Pumarin is typical of many of the fighters we met. School by day, then crammed into the back of a truck for the bumpy ride home, where there was a makeshift boxing ring built atop a crumbling old dock along a river. She has 15 brothers and sisters, and they all fight.
How many fights have you had, and how many have you won or lost?
11 fights, and I won all of them, she says.
Where I live, people think it's not safe for little kids like you to fight.
Don't worry, 13-year-old Pavita says. We are so well prepared, we don't get hurt. The training is endless. Jogging every day, exercising, and drilling repeatedly. Even the smallest are expected to join in. Not surprisingly by this point, the father, a former fighter himself, tells us he has no safety concerns at all. Their proud mother shows off the family's overflowing stash of trophies and prizes.
There are some mothers who will watch this who will say, it's your job to protect them. Having a 7-year-old in the ring with no protection is dangerous.
It's a sport, and there are bigger problems, she says, adding that it keeps the kids happy, focused, and away from drugs. In Thailand, where this form of boxing known as Muay Thai is fully ingrained in the culture, researchers estimate 100,000 kids under 16 are actively fighting.
So these kids are already showing evidence of memory damage.
These are the damage to the brain.
Dr. Jiraporn Laothamadis may be tackling the biggest fight. She's part of a team in Bangkok doing the first ever research into what all this fighting is doing to the children by conducting brain scans and other tests on 100 child boxers. She says early tests are far worse than she imagined when she began the project.
Their brains look like people who've been in automobile accidents.
Yes.
The data is revealing. Child boxers have much better eye-hand coordination than other kids from intense training, but they also have serious memory issues that will grow worse. One of the kids being tested is 10-year-old Thipsaja. Like others we met, she too is part of a fighting family. Her father set up this makeshift boxing ring next to the police station where he works. The family, also like the others, is poor. Thipsaja shares a tiny apartment with her brothers and sisters, and there are great hopes that her fighting skills will be her ticket out. From what we saw, she is shy, focused, and unbelievably fierce in the ring.
She is fierce in there and throws some really hard punches. She must also get hit pretty hard. Do you ever worry about her?
I was very scared, she says, but after seeing her in practice and the fact that she learned how to protect herself, I feel better. The family believes fighting keeps the kids away from other dangers. And that is the trouble with this troubling sport. It is ingrained in a culture that provides few alternatives. Some of these kids would be working in sweatshops, or worse, put to work in Bangkok's infamous red light district if they weren't in the ring.
It's something I struggled with quite a bit during the shooting and especially during the editing process. I went there with a very Western-centric idea. It took me a lot of time to realize that this is a way of life. These kids are putting their brothers and sisters through school, buying uniforms, buying pens, pencils. One of the kids in the film built a house for their parents.
And so, disturbing as the early research is, it may not make a difference in a culture not yet ready to hear it and unprepared to offer a better way out. I'm Neil Karlinski for Nightline in Bangkok, Thailand.